Hi, I am Nucleo Patra. I am your resident RuPaul's Drag Race reviewer. And today we're going to be reviewing season 3 of Canada's Drag Race, episode 5, the Snatch Game episode. This was a very exciting episode. This was an episode that kind of surprised me in a lot of ways. Let's get into it, alright? If you're new to my channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe. I do have a main YouTube channel called Lamarr Townsend Tarot. My boy name is Lamarr Townsend. And actually just yesterday I posted a drag makeup transformation tutorial where I transform myself. I show you the process basically of how I transform myself to my boy, from my boy self to this here, as what you see right now, a womana, alright? So, yes, definitely check that out. So, subscribe for more content like that. Subscribe for more content like this. Please like the video if you enjoy these reviews. And, thank you for being here. Like I was saying, subscribe to my second YouTube channel, Lamarr Townsend Tarot, as well. And please do not hesitate to check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com, for a personal reading if that would interest you as well. I do all different types of readings. I do psychic readings, tarot readings, astrology readings, birth chart readings, past life readings. I do candles. I do classes where I teach you how to read tarot, astrology. So there's just so much on my website, Lamarr Townsend Tarot, once again, to check out. So definitely check that out. And I also happen to also be a drag queen. So look at that, how that works. All right. Look at how God works, honey. Okay, so let's get into Canada's Drag Race Season 3, Episode 5. So, the episode starts with us once again getting a recap of last week. Giselle won the Maxi Challenge last week. Jada sent Kaos home in a very good lip sync to the legendary Tamia song, Stranger in My House, the remix. And of course we get a recap of Fierce's drama last week. So, of course, you know, in true Fierce fashion, we start out today's episode, or, you know, this week's episode, with more Fierce drama. Alright? There we go. We start out our episode with more Fierce drama. Fierce immediately starts, out upset at Kimmy, because apparently during Untucked last week, or you know, after the episode last week, Kimmy called out Fierce for being immature, and Fierce calls out Kimmy, you know, saying, you know, I wish she would have said that to me sooner or earlier, you know, at a different point instead of just saying it now. And I was just like, oh my god, here we go. So all the girls end up calling Fierce out for her just childishness and being extra. Boom Boom, Lady Boom Boom ends up saying she's completely over it and changes the vibe, which I'm so glad she did that, because starting the episode with Fierce's drama, I was just like, okay girl, really? So Boom Boom changes the vibe and ends up congratulating Giselle on her win last week. So that's how we start out the episode. Alright, and then we get into the workroom. Alright, the start of the episode. The new episode, this week's episode. So at the start of the episode, here the girls are in the workroom. They're sitting all at the table, the remaining girls here. They're having a little chat. And Fierce apologizes to everyone for how she's been acting and agrees to make an effort to change. And I was like, oh my god, thank you so much, because basically everyone was annoyed with her at this point. Fierce is the one in the orange little jacket right there. Everyone around her was annoyed with her. So annoyed with her and her drama. So I'm so glad she committed, and she did commit to it this episode. She, you know, there were times where it's like she could have been petty, but she actively made a choice to not be petty, or just to not be fierce, right? So I was like, okay, at least she's attempting to make a change in this episode. So I was like, okay, that's good. Couple more notes. Kimmy Couture, who is next to Irma Gerd, Irma has the yellow hair with the white shirt. Kimmy Couture has the little pigtails in her hair and the long black hair next to Bombae, who has the black shirt with the, looks like the necklace around his neck. The brown skin one, and of course next to Bombae is Lady Boom Boom with a tattoo. It looks like a tattoo around her neck. By the way, Bombae is like really, I'm really kind of warming up to Bombae. Like, Bombae's slowly becoming a favorite of mine. You know, as the episode and as the season goes on, I'm really falling in love with Bombae. Bombae's in, like, my top 3. So far, my top 3 is Jada Shada Hudson. You guys know at first I liked Vivian Vanderpuss, but she's fallen a little bit lower on my list, to be honest. Sorry, Vivian. But I'm loving Jada Shada Hudson. My top 3 so far are Jada Shada Hudson, Miss Fiercalicious. As much as she gets on my nerves, I do believe Miss Fiercalicious is fierce. And Bombae. I think Kimmy might take that 4th spot, but we'll have to see. Alright, anyway. But my top 3 are Jada Shada Hudson, Miss Fiercalicious, and Bombae. Anyway. Kimmy ends up saying, and pointing out that she has a win. Kimmy has a win so far. Jada has a win. Lady Boom Boom has a win. And Gizelle has a win. Meaning the other remaining girls don't have a win. And we're 5 episodes into the competition, so it's like she's kind of like step your game up. So, you know, I was like, okay, Kimmy, you know, I like that confidence, you know, I suppose, alright. And then Brooke Lynn comes out and announces that the library is open, child, for a reading challenge, honey. And Brooke Lynn looks nice here. You know, this is Brooke Lynn in her boy drag. I do like the mesh shirt underneath the business kind of suit jacket. Alright, it's very like, you know, lady in the sheets put a freak in the bed kind of vibe. So I was like, okay, this is cute, Brooke Lynn. Brooke Lynn comes out and announces that the library is open. That means that it's a reading challenge. So this is the first reading challenge of the season. You know, every season they kind of have an episode where the mini challenge is reading, you know, all the girls. So they were all really shady, actually, and really funny. But the ones that stuck out the most, definitely, and surprisingly, and not so surprisingly was Lady Boom Boom. Lady Boom Boom stuck out and read the girls to filth. I mean, fifth would be Andrew Caldwell. Anyway, sorry about that. And then Miss Fiercalicious was also really, really good too, but that wasn't too surprising because we already know about Miss Fiercalicious, okay? So of course Boom Boom ends up winning the mini challenge, meaning that she was the number 1 that ended up reading all the girls down to the ground. So, and I completely agree with that because she was very shady. And then Brooke Lynn ends up letting us know that today's maxi challenge is the Snatch game. So for those of you that watch these reviews and you don't actually watch the show, the Snatch game is where the drag queens have to figure out a character, typically a celebrity or something like that, that they want to impersonate. And then they go into the Snatch game, which is kind of like a game show, a fake setup game show for this show. Very meta, I know. And they like have to give answers to, I don't know, like puns or something like that, you know, and make it funny. You know, the point of a Snatch game is to be funny and to be on point with your character impersonation. It's very nerve-wracking. I can imagine that, you know, this would be definitely an episode I would definitely be nervous about, to be honest with you. And I don't know if I were to perform at this stage in my drag career. I'm still a baby drag queen. I don't know who I would do in my Snatch game, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm sure I could figure someone out, but why is that one hair sticking out? Oh my god. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So we figure out today's the Snatch game. So we find out that Gisèle Lullaby, and Lady Boom Boom are doing the same character. Gizelle lets Lady Boom Boom have it. And then we find out Kimmy Couture and Miss Fiercalicious. These two always get into it. Kimmy Couture and Miss Fiercalicious are doing the same character, which is Ariana Grande. Kimmy says she's not changing at all. So Miss Fiercalicious actually takes the high road, surprisingly, and lets Kimmy have it. Now this was a moment when I was talking about earlier. I was like, okay, Miss Fiercalicious actually committed to her, you know, deciding to take the high road and be a better person. So I was like, okay, I'm here for that, Miss Fiercalicious. I really do, you know, enjoy the improvement so far this episode. So Let's talk about the characters everyone is, says that they're doing. Of course, Brooklyn, sits at the end of the table. Everyone comes up to Brooklyn and explains what they're doing in terms of their character. Brooklyn gives them notes. We find out that Bombae is doing Aziz Ansari, who is a comedian. I thought that was very interesting. I was like, okay, that could go either way. Jada is doing Saucy Santana, which I was like, that seems kind of up Jada's alley. I was interested to see how Jada was going to turn that out. Vivian Vanderpuss is doing Tammy Faye. So it's like, okay, I actually don't know who Tammy Faye is, but I was like, I trust Vivian to kind of work it out. I wasn't real worried about Vivian in the Snatch game by any means. Kimmy Couture, once again, is doing Ariana Grande. I was kind of like, okay, Kimmy. I wish you luck, girl. One thing I would say is that, if I, were to do a Snatch game, I don't know if I would do a pop girl or a music artist. Unless maybe I were really, really, really sure what I was doing, right? So I was like, okay, Ariana Grande, go for it. Mary's Fiercalicious is doing Kourtney Kardashian. So even Brooklyn was like, are you sure you want to do that? Because she's not really funny. She's very monotone. But Mary's Fiercalicious was like, no, I've got it, Brooklyn. I've got it figured out. I've had so many different inspirations I can pull from. So I was like, all right, Mary's Fiercalicious, go do your thing, girl. All right. Lady Boom Boom is doing Mado, a drag Canadian legend. I still don't know how to spell the name. Apparently it's a Canadian drag queen who's very well known, Mado. So I was like, okay, I don't know, I have no idea who this is, but I'm hoping to learn who this is through your impersonation or interpretation of them. I was like, okay, this will be interesting. Irma Gerd is doing one of my favorite people, Marilyn Monroe. Now, when she said that, I was like, we'll see how this goes, because, Marilyn's one of those people where it's like, how, she's funny, but how do you make her funny in a Snatch game, Like, you have to be really good at comedy to make someone like Marilyn, who ironically was really good at comedy too, to really, kind of like get that down on Snatch Game. So I was like, okay, Irma, we'll see, because I love me some Marilyn. I take inspiration from Marilyn very much, probably especially when it comes to my look. Us blondes have to stick together, right? So I was like, okay, this should be interesting. She was mentioning earlier in the episode, Irma, how she was a comedy girl, and if there's any maybe, maxi challenge she could win, it could be Snatch Game. So I was like, okay, I like that confidence. Lastly, Giselle is doing Mary Curry, who is associated with Radioactivity. Her second option was Celine Dion. My pick was Celine Dion because she did an impersonation of Celine in front of Brooklyn, and it was actually pretty good. So I was like, I would have picked Celine, which I know goes against my pop girl, thing I just said. But I don't know. I was just like, I didn't know who Marie Curry was, so I was just like, whatever. All right. So let's get into the Snatch Game looks and performances. I just realized 13 minutes into the video that I had my TV on in the background the whole time. I was so into talking about this episode that I completely didn't realize the TV was on. So if that was distracting, I'm so sorry. I did not realize that my TV was on. So, and now I'm trying to fix my hair as usual. My hair as usual. My hair. Alright. So, first up is Bombae as Aziz Ansari. And Bombae had this take with Aziz. Aziz, by the way, let me see if I can just kind of fix the camera. Aziz, by the way, is a comedian already. So, once again, it's difficult to make a comedian funny, because they're already funny, right? That's their job. I actually kind of liked Bombae's Aziz Ansari. The judges weren't a huge fan of it. She actually ended up in the bottom. But I actually kind of liked it. Bombae had Aziz's cadences, some of his cadences and kind of mannerisms down. So I actually liked it. I was like, there were some, it wasn't perfect, but I liked it. So that's Bombae. After Bombae, we have Gizelle Lullaby once again as Marie Curie. Giselle ended up winning the Snatch game. She was very over the top. I, to be honest, didn't get it. She definitely had some funny bits, and I will say that Giselle stole the show this episode in Miss Snatch Game. She definitely was good at stealing the show. Was it funny necessarily by my standards or what I find funny? No, I more so laughed at the other girls. But there were a couple things Giselle like, and it's just kind of like, it was just kind of like that over the top, like think like Jim Carrey humor, you know, which it's like I don't always find that funny. So I was just like, okay, it wasn't my favorite of the night, but I could see how she was at least in the top, and I could see how she won. She did steal the show, like I will give her that. After Giselle was Miss Fiercalicious. At first, Miss Fiercalicious felt a little bit flat. You know, she was giving very much that, you know, Kourtney Kardashian kind of like, you know, boring. You know, it's just kind of like, okay, like this is what you would expect from Kourtney. But then she had some funny bits in there. There was a part where she was like on the phone, and she was like kind of like she was like making up the, you know, like that Kris Jenner had just called her, and Kris Jenner like couldn't figure out what her name was. That was funny. I thought that was funny. So Fiercalicious did have some funny bits here. And it wasn't a bad, to be honest, Kourtney Kardashian, but it was just kind of like, it was safe, and I think she ended up being safe. So it was a save, you know. I would give Amir Fiercalicious. Next up, we have Lady Boom Boom as Mado Lamotte. Lady Boom Boom as Mado Lamotte was very boring. At some point, she actually wrote the same answer twice. And actually, next to her name, I wrote no. So, Lady Boom Boom was one of the, I think, only two that were, like, not good in the Snatch game. Meaning they weren't funny. And, I don't know, they just weren't, like, they weren't well thought out. Like, some of the answers weren't well thought out. And, like, the volleying back and forth and the engagement, it was just, like, I don't know, you know, not my favorite from Lady Boom Boom. So I did not like Lady Boom Boom's performance in the Snatch game. Next, after after Lady Boom Boom, we have Irma Gerd. All right, and Irma Gerd was Marilyn Monroe, and you guys, this really surprised me. Irma Gerd was actually surprisingly very funny as Marilyn Monroe. I actually laughed a couple times at her as Marilyn Monroe. It was very witty. She had great comedic timing, Irma Gerd, as Marilyn Monroe, and she had some really good bits in there. Like, there were some really, really witty responses from Irma Gerd as Marilyn Monroe. And to be honest, this was a tough, like, kind of like choice in terms of who would have won, because there were so many. But I don't know, Irma was definitely probably my top 2 or 3 favorite in the Snatch game. Like, she was that good as Marilyn Monroe, you know, had the voice down, the cadence down, like, you know, there was, I loved Irma Gerd as Marilyn Monroe. I loved her in this episode. I thought she did so good in the Snatch game. Definitely will go down in history as one of the best Snatch games on the show, in my opinion. I've never seen Marilyn Monroe done so well, so I was like, Irma, yes, honey. Alright. After Irma was Vivian Vanderpuss, and Vivian Vanderpuss was Tammy Faye. I thought Vivian, she had a great accent for Tammy, and she did a whole QVC bit. Like, she had something she was selling. Once again, I don't know Tammy Faye, so I don't know if that's like kind of her personality, but I just thought that was kind of funny. Like, you know, like she was selling like some sort of drink. And I was like, really, Vivian as Tammy Faye? But it was really good. I liked Vivian as Tammy Faye. Not necessarily my favorite of the night, but I definitely would give her probably top 4. You know, top 5 in terms of the Snatch Game hierarchy in this episode. Alright, definitely. After Vivian was Jada Shada Hudson as Saucy Santana. Now, what gagged me is that she looked exactly like Saucy Santana. And was hilarious. There was one point where Brooke Lynn Hytes asked her to get up and like do a dance. And she did the dance. It was so funny. I thought Jada was so good as Saucy Santana. She ended up being safe, which I agree with, but I was like, this was so good to me. I thought this was so funny, so good. I was like, Jada continues to slay me. For me, I think Jada might be my number one. So I'm replacing Jada as my number one favorite. I'm replacing Vivian as my number one favorite with Jada Shada Hudson. All right. After Jada was Kimmy Couture as Ariana Grande. And I just put next to Kimmy's name, no. I didn't even put any other critiques or anything else. I just literally put no. It was not good. The only thing about Ariana Grande I got from this was her look. And even that was just kind of like, you know, it looked like Kimmy Couture maybe like cosplaying as Ariana Grande. I'm not sure. But I was just like, this wasn't, you know, maybe in her wheelhouse, I feel like. So this was a no. Kimmy Couture and Lady Boom Boom were, in my opinion, the only really kind of not good ones here in the Snatch game. They struggled a little bit. The rest of them were really good. So that was the Snatch game. A couple notes as we transition into the runway. The girls start getting ready for the runway. The Snatch game is over, and we find out some interesting things about the girls. So we find out that Vivian Vanderpuss is religious and grew up Baptist, has a Baptist connection. Hence the Tammy Faye character portrayal that she did. And I thought that was very interesting because I wouldn't peg Vivian Vanderpuss as, you know, religious. But now that I think about it, you know, people who grow up and become very creative tend to have those types of like conservative or restrictive backgrounds, and typically that creativity, especially that kind of odd out of the box creativity, and that's a way for them, which is kind of like me too. I grew up very religious. It's kind of like a way for us to express ourselves, you know, express the things we weren't allowed to really express when we were younger. All right, so I found that very interesting from Vivian Vanderpuss. All right. And then the girls get into this like whole discussion about the topic. We find out that Kimmy's family sent Kimmy to a religious school to convert to being straight. So Kimmy, who is now transgender, once again, went to a conversion school, or was sent to a conversion school by her family. And then we found out more information that Gizelle also was sent to a conversion camp, and now by association, religion triggers her as a result. We find out that Bombae was raised Hindu and Catholic, and was also introduced to queer gods and goddesses by his family growing up. But Bombae's family doesn't know that Bombae does drag. Alright? So that's very interesting. I was like, okay. These are, you know, these little notes I take in. It's little things that you learn about the girls. It's little things you learn about why they do what they do, or why they present themselves the way they do. So it gives you more perspective. So, you know, I like taking this stuff in. So we move on now to the runway. And the runway category for this week is the periodic table of elements. So when they said that, I was like, oh, okay, high school chemistry class. So let's get into this runway for this episode. Alright, so first, Brooke Lynn comes out on the runway, and Brooke Lynn looks absolutely amazing. Alright, I love this silver dress. I actually love her hair. I usually don't like the wet look all the time, but somehow, someway, she looks amazing. I also think, you know, I think Brooke Lynn looks good in blue. So I could also see the same here with her like wearing something in blue. Something probably tight fitted, just like this dress. Maybe not this same kind of dress. Definitely maybe not the same fabric. But I could see this hair with like something blue, you know, against her skin tone. I feel like this would look gorgeous. But anyways, I love this look itself. You know, I thought she looked just absolutely stunning. So here we have the host of Canada's Drag Race, the main host, Brooke Lynn Hytes, coming out on the runway. And we get into the runway category, the girls, what they brought to the runway. So first up we have Mire's Fiercalicious. And Mire's Fiercalicious is the element neon. I really liked Mire's Fiercalicious's look. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a good, interesting take on neon with the tubes coming out in neon colors. It was kind of giving Club Kid like vibes as well. So I actually really liked this look by Mire's Fiercalicious, and I love the corset that was cinched too. So I really like this look from Mire's Fiercalicious. After Mire's Fiercalicious, we have Kimmy Couture as Calcium. And when she came out, I was like, okay, Kaos. This is, giving very much Kaos from, last week. The previous episodes, Kaos was sent home last week. So if you didn't watch my review of episode 4, go watch episode 4. But this is very much giving Kaos vibes. So I was like, okay, Kaos. I wasn't a fan of this too much. Calcium, the bone. So there was this kind of whole bone look she was going for. But I didn't think it was properly executed, I'll say. So I was not a huge fan of this from Kimmy Couture. Kimmy Couture was not really giving it, this episode in my opinion. But we, all have our ups and downs, so it is what it is. After Kimmy Couture was Vivian, and Vivian was Arsenic. So at first she came out in this kind of long trench coat looking thing, with green and black stripes. So when I saw it, I was like, she has to have a reveal underneath there, because I know she's not coming out here just in that. And then, of course, she did give us a reveal into this old Hollywood starlet. I liked the concept in the reveal. It was like kind of a femme fatale thing. Almost like giving off the energy of like she's the arsenic. You know how sometimes like femme fatales can be like a man's weakness or arsenic in some way, shape, or form. So I thought it was a very cute concept. And I liked it, I thought this was nice. After Vivian was Lady Boom Boom. And Lady Boom Boom was Brahmin. At first I didn't understand the concept. I actually had to look up what Brahmin was. But then as she walked the runway and she actually showed this cool thing where I don't know if you can see the tubes, but in the tubes it looked like Brahmin was like running through the tubes, aka like running through her veins. So I actually thought the concept, after like I had a second look at it and had time to digest it and like process it, I actually really liked it. I actually really liked the concept. Although I didn't fully understand how it connected to Brahmin, I still liked it. You know what I'm saying? I thought this was cool from Lady Boom Boom. So after Lady Boom Boom is Gisèle Lullaby. And Gizelle Lullaby was Celium. I thought Giselle looked really pretty. I didn't understand this concept either. I didn't understand how it connected to Celium, and I had to look up or is it Cesium? It's Cesium or I think it's Cesium. I didn't understand the concept. She looked beautiful and gorgeous, but I didn't understand how this connected to Cesium necessarily. Unless there's something with the symbology of the shapes or something like that, but I was just like, very pretty, very gorgeous. I love it. I don't get how it fits the concept, but I love the look. All right. So after Giselle was Jada Shada Hudson, and Jada Shada Hudson was Sodium. I was like, ooh, that's cute. Sodium, yes. I thought this was cute, but I thought the fit was kind of off because you can kind of see her panty underneath. I think I would have liked this a bit more, maybe if the whole dress was kind of wrapped around. But I did like this look. I like the concept. I just wished it was maybe executed a little bit better from Jada Shada Hudson. See, even though she's my favorite right now, I will, I'm very non-biased. That's my Libra moon. I give, credit where credit's due, but I also, say, have to say my truth with some tact and kindness, wrapped in a ball. All right, maybe a little bit of shade in there too, a dash of shade. All right, I am very honest, even with people I like a lot, okay? So after Jada Shada Hudson was Irma Gerd. And Irma Gerd was uranium. I actually really like this look. Irma is really stepping her game up as the episodes go on. And this might be my favorite look I've seen Irma in, to be honest with you, so far. I thought she looked gorgeous. It was kind of a playoff yellow, how uranium can be yellow. She gave like a housewife kind of vibe. I thought this was cute. I thought this was very, very cute, and very Irma. So this was one of my favorites of the night, to be honest. This look. After Irma, now speaking of favorites, this was my absolute favorite. After Irma is Bombae, and Bombae did helium. So she has this cinched waist with like this yellow, it almost looks like latex kind of fabric, and then has these blue, or not blue, purple helium balls, almost like making up the shape of her breast, her legs, her arms. She has these balls on her head. I thought this was so creative. As soon as I saw like the directive, like the helium in her outfit, I was like, I get it. So I loved this was my favorite look of the night. I thought Bombae hit it right on the mark, in terms of the category. And she's a concept queen. I'm learning it with Bombae is that Bombae is a concept queen. And I love a concept queen. Alright? Because I love a concept. As you can see. If you can't tell, I love a concept. So my favorite absolutely of the night was Bombae. I would say after Bombae, I really liked Miss Fiercalicious. And I liked Irma. I thought Irma was very good, to be honest with you. Irma really shined tonight. I thought everyone else was fine, to be honest with you. But those were my favorite. I did like Boom Boom too. I like Boom Boom's concept. So, wrapping things up, we find out that Gizelle is the winner of the Maxi Challenge, meaning that Gizelle won the Snatch game. I didn't know how to feel about that, to be honest with you. I thought Gizelle was funny. She stole the show. But I was just like, I don't know how I feel about her winning this Snatch game. Like, I thought Irma was good. I thought Vivian was good. I thought Jada was good. I thought if anyone, Irma probably could have won over the others. So I was like, I guess, I guess I agree with it. I don't know. I kind of liked Irma a little bit better. Like, I feel like Gizelle won the show over in Snatch Game. But just because you win the show over doesn't mean you're funny. Like, I laughed more at other contestants. So I was like, it is what it is. I'm not the judge. I'm just, someone reviewing the show. So in the bottom is Kimmy Couture and Lady Boom Boom. Child. So Lady Boom Boom and Kimmy Couture end up in the bottom this week. And I actually didn't put down the song that they lip sync to. I should have put down the song that they lip sync to, but the lip sync that they did was actually really good. Both did really good. It's, in my opinion, this was probably the best lip sync of the season so far. Maybe second best behind, or this might actually be first or second. For me, I kind of like the other lip sync better. This and last week's lip sync, Kaos and Jada Shada Hudson, have been my favorite lip syncs of this season so far. Alright? I thought both did good. In the end, Kimmy did win the lip sync, and unfortunately, Lady Boom Boom had to go home. And y'all know I've kind of been reading Lady Boom Boom the whole season so far, all throughout the episodes. For her, like, Lady Boom Boom to me just kind of gives, like, delusion a little bit sometimes. And the interesting thing with this is that when the girls leave, it is honestly sad to see them leave, I'm sorry. There's Lady Boom Boom as she's being told she has to go. As the girls leave, it is really sad to see them leave, to be honest with you. Because you get attached to them over the seasons. And over the episodes. And as the episodes go on, it's like you see, you've seen these girls since episode 1. So as the episodes go on, it's like, oh man, you've been here since episode 1. And now episode 6 you have to go. I was just starting to like you. Or I was just starting to like you a few episodes ago. So that's kind of how I felt with Lady Boom Boom. I was like, man, I actually didn't want to see Lady Boom Boom go. You know, she wasn't my absolute favorite in the competition, but it's just like, I still feel kind of attached to her. I'm going to miss her delusional self, you know, so Lady Boom Boom gets sent home in today's episode, episode 5, and that is the culmination of Canada's Drag Race, episode 5. I thought this was a really good episode, you guys. You know, I'm starting to really, really love this season. And I tell you guys this all the time, but I don't think I've loved Canada's Drag Race this much since season 1. Season 2 was good, and I think once season 3 goes off air, like once we wrap up season 3, I think I may go back and watch season 2 and finish it up. Because the last episode of season 2 I remember that I watched was the, I think it was the episode right after the Under the Big Top Rusical. Which was actually a really good episode, by the way. The Under the Big Top Rusical of episode 2. And I think that's where I stopped watching because I didn't have a way to watch the episode. So, anyways, this is the end of episode 3, you guys. This was a really good episode. Snatch Game was so good. It was such, like, I don't know. Irma Gerd as Marilyn really shocked me. And Saucy Santana was hilarious. So this was a great episode. This is the end of episode 3. I've got to go, you guys. I've got a reading to do. I'm getting a psychic reading, but I'm also doing a psychic reading for someone. I'm doing a trade. So that's it. These are my notes, and we're done with episode 5. I can't wait for episode 6. I can't believe we're already at episode 6. I feel like time is going by so fast. Anyways, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on my YouTube channel. Keep in touch with me on all my social media pages. Make sure you subscribe to my main page, Lamarr Townsend Tarot, and I will see you in the next video. I'll see you in your own personal reading. Either way, I will see you soon. Love and light. God bless.